All right, good evening. We are live for our school board meeting on Monday, July 28th, 2025. Mr. Chairman, I'll hand it over to you to begin our meeting tonight.
Yeah, so we're gonna do a tour with the Port of Walla Walla, with the Walla Walla Executive Director, Pat Ray. Offering a tour of the Port of Walla Walla properties in the Burbank area, discussing the latest updates and developments concerning the Port of Walla Walla properties. The CSD Board of Directors will not be making any decisions or taking any actions on any items while on the tour.
Okay, so we'll be coming back from that. Back ready to convene at 7 p.m. for our regular business meeting. We'll convene then. All right, we're live again for our board meeting presentation. Monday night, July 28th, 2025. We're going to begin our agenda. Mr. Chairman.
Stand for the flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Mr. Hilberg, good news?
So we're ready to start with some great news. I want to welcome our new Columbia School District Athletic Director officially, Tavis Gridington. I said a T, sorry. And you guys all obviously know him hopefully by face through the interview process, but I'm excited to officially welcome him on board. So I didn't make him prepare a speech or anything like that, but I just wanted to introduce him and say we're excited to have him on staff with us. He's obviously, going to be a great addition. Jay has done a lot of amazing things in here, and I appreciate the time. And he was here, served in our district, but we've had a really smooth transition, bringing Tavis on, and he's been able to work with Mr. Ani and Ray to hit the ground running. And I'm excited for this opportunity for our district. So. Thank you for being here, Tavis.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Anything for the board?
Tavis, right?
Travis, yeah. Like Travis with no R.
Got it. When we were doing interviews, we were kind of, didn't know for sure.
I've heard it before. I've heard Travis a few times before.
All right, awesome. Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
recognize the face, and you'll see him around quite a bit. So, all right.
Let's see, board operating principle review. Issues which come before the board, information items. I'll do the board. Inform superintendent of significant concerns raised by district patrons. Make superintendent aware of issues, programs on which the board wishes to be informed.
Superintendent, keep the board informed of all new major or important developments and the progress of activities related to board goals and major programs. Inform the board in advance of any complaint, concern, or issues likely to affect the board or the Columbia School District.
Thank you. Any changes or additions?
No changes to the agenda tonight or additions. Reminder that we have a public meeting that doesn't start till 7:15. We have to maintain that schedule due to the advertise. If we get to that part, which I'm expecting to get early, then we'll go through our monthly financials and then come back to the open public meeting at 7:15.
Sounds good. Moving on to the consent agenda. We have 4 items. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Can I ask a question, Todd?
Yep.
Help me connect the dots. For the 4 hires, can you tell me who left or what position we changed or hybrided there? Can you go through that easily?
Yeah. So I'll start with the first one at the elementary school counseling position. That's really a shift in programming with that one. We had a person in that position with a different role, and based on the need of programming, we shifted that to a counseling position. So there was a specific background and experience we were looking for in that position. So you see that position, while it had a previous person, it shifted. It was on a temporary contract, so we've hired a new person with a counseling background.
So the person who went away on a temporary contract.
It is not back at this point. The second hiring, which is the STEM teacher, That position was a shift based on retirement, where we had someone bounce around from another position. We had that is someone new we're bringing into that to fill that position. So that teacher had moved on to I want to say an English position, and so we brought in a new staff member out of that one due to retirement. It was a trickle effect of a retirement.
Mike Marble retirement was
Correct.
the initiating event?
Correct.
Okay.
The second one, or the third one, was a para-educator position. We just had someone move on from that position, and so we had someone new assigned that para position. And same with the last one.
So no new money or no new positions.
Those are not, we've not added positions. Those people have assumed positions, correct.
Okay, thank you very much.
I missed anything on that one, am I, Kev? Huh? Those are the ones that are a bit hazy for me. I think those are, one I know is in your building, Mike, so, yeah.
You good?
Yep.
Anything further? Crystal, you good? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Oh, wait, I don't think we had a second on the table.
Well, I said
did you?
I'm sorry, I said a second with some questions, so.
Perfect, so we got a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Budget?
Visitors,
Any visitors?
please, thanks for being here.
Going once, twice, 3 times?
So we'll come back to the fiscal budget hearing at 7:15, so if you'll bear with me as I move past that. I'm gonna move on to our budget status. So July of 2025, budget status. General fund, required piece, you can see at the end of June, we're at $1,863,878. I always want to remind you, we're kind of coming off that crest. We're getting down closer to the end of that August anticipated 1.6 million. But you can see, we're definitely back to the pre-pandemic. We're getting to that piece where you saw that influx of federal dollars coming in. So you see, we're on target to meet that August estimated fund, our general fund. Moving on to capital projects, you can see at the end of the month, we have $354,974 remaining on our capital projects. Debt service fund, $274,342 remaining in debt service. ASB, $179,966. Transportation vehicle, $40,183. We will come back and talk to, we don't receive our transportation vehicle fund yearly piece. We'll get that about in August. And then we'll come back, we'll have some conversations about continuing our bus purchasing cycle and where we're at with that. So, yep. Michael?
This $40,000, all the vans are bought, paid for here.
Vans were not purchased at a transportation vehicle. We cannot use vans for that. That was a separate source we had to. So this is can only be used for yellow buses. So we'll get a fairly significant transportation vehicle payout in August. Keep in mind that money has to be spent, can only be spent on buses. But we've got 3 of those buses coming off this year, next year. So we'll have some of those return dollars come back to that. And reminder, the next 3 will be coming off. We've already purchased one ahead of time so that we wouldn't be trying to purchase 3 all at once, trying to spread that payment out. And so we'll be looking at this next year, possibly 2 years, to be looking at making some some acquisitions of yellow buses to maintain our routes on the depreciation cycle.
Does it make sense to buy multiple buses in a year? I mean, is there a scenario where that pencils out? Or should we try to spread that to where we're only doing one a year?
To me, it's a financial question for me because we're trying to make do with the funds that we have in there and not dip into other fund balances to do that. If
But we get that ripple on the other end when we gotta buy it again. Now like we did the last time, we bought 3 together, and then it puts us in this situation of,
we've already offset that by 1, and my hope is we can purchase 1 over the next. If things play out right, I'd like to purchase 2, but over separate years, so that we'll be able to continue to spread those out and have 1 at a time. That won't be such a hit to the district.
How long is the depreciation schedule again, 12 years?
Roughly, don't quote me on that, but it's roughly that time, and I could get you an exact. No, but it'll pay itself out. When Dana shows up, we'll put that right in front of you. We don't need to be making that decision until closer to December, January. So we've got some time, but I just want to remind you that'll be back up there. Okay?
Okay.
That's it for finances. Any questions on that?
I don't think so. You guys good? Financials? Did you wanna give a little bit of time to?
Yeah, so what I'll do. So if we can, we still have, how much time do we have? Still have about 4 minutes or so, but Pat, anything you'd like to add or address? Or any questions from the board?
Well, can I jump in? I don't want,
It's your meeting.
just leave you running there, but I wanted you to come in case we had public here that maybe had specific questions to the port. We had the privilege of going out and doing the tour. So I don't know if you guys have anything specific, you know, for the port or questions about their developments or,
So, as a way of introduction, this is Pat Ray, Executive Director, Port of Walla Walla. So, he's basically what would be almost in my position through the port. He has commissioners he works with, as I do, or board of directors. So he kind of oversees port property, port development. You can see this is their mission is really to spur economic development in Walla Walla County. So we had the opportunity to go out and just see, kind of have a conversation about the latest developments and things that were out there. And so we really appreciate your time tonight.
Thank you.
appreciate you.
If anybody ever has any questions, I'm accessible anytime. If you, even as the board, if your community has questions, feel free to reach out.
Yeah.
Todd knows how to get a hold of me, and
It would be nice to have some updates as things progress and move. I mean, there's a lot going on, so it would be
happy to.
helpful.
I think it's great having you out here, and as I continue to come and meet at our quarterly meetings, as things come along, I can see us down the road, as you know, when things happen. It'd be nice for things to occur, but we could maybe have an update again down the road, so that'd be great. If not, then I'm gonna, if you're okay, I can dismiss you.
You bet. Thanks a lot.
Thank you again for your time, Pat. It's very beneficial.
You betcha.
We are going to slowly work our way back here. We will begin our budget hearing at 7:15. I guess while we're waiting, I'll just do a reminder. So this is our annual 2025-26 State of the Union address for our budget that was developed for this next calendar school year. At this hearing, we will review the 5 required budget requirements by the state: general funds, capital projects, debt service, ASB, transportation, and you see those monthly, but you're required to do that annually to forecast for the budget year. The additional requirement will be the 4-year projection fiscal budget in those same 5 categorical pieces: general, capital, debt service, ASB, and transportation. At the end of that, in new business, reminder, we will have a resolution to pass the 25-26 budget and the 4-year fiscal budget. Both those budgets are wrapped into a single resolution, so you will just need to approve the one resolution for the 2 budgets. So, that is what we have prepared tonight, and we'll be ready to move on. 7:15. Jeopardy music, I would play it here.
Sing it.
Nobody wants to hear that. It's 7:15. All right, we're gonna begin. So thank you for being here tonight for annual budget report. So I'm gonna go through the 5 categorical pieces I mentioned to you. The estimated beginning fund balance, you can see, of our general fund. We're gonna put at $2 million, capital projects, $311,463. Debt service, $265,000, ASB, $167,843, transportation vehicle, $133,000. So when we begin looking at, you can see our projected revenues, other funding sources, we calculate our revenue in there, our expenditures, the transfer out, we'll talk about that. That is our final payment through our debt service piece, and that is gonna be our energy upgrades that was previous to my starting here. I can tell you that 125 is our last payment on that, and that'll be occurring over this next budget year. We're anticipating at the end of the 25-26 year, again, these are all estimates, estimated values of 1.4 million. You can see in our general fund, debt service 234,000, and in ASB 155,000. See the ending general fund balance that we're projecting at the end of that year is 8.6, which puts us within the board required parameters of an 8.0 ending fund balance. And again, keep in mind the beginning fund balance, we're talking about all these pieces. We're using that based on estimates that we're talking about maximizing all grant opportunities. That's an important piece to know within budget parameters for the current year. Sometimes we get surprises when, either we're awarded grants or, as we talk about, this is not specific to this because we're talking state funds here, but federal funds when things are not funded and pushed through. So this is assuming we're getting everything we're anticipated for. So that's not always a guarantee. Questions on that? Not hearing any. We're going to look at the enrollment history. You can see the numbers to the left in gray are enrollment numbers. Projected, again, we always project conservatively. We do that so we don't get upside down. We're projecting at 705, which is up from this last year, what we projected. The reason we do that is, again, we don't want to get upside down when we budget with that. And this also allows us to start, and then we add staffing throughout the year as we need it. We're typically on the nose with certificated staffing, but often we'll add para support throughout the year as needed, as we actually see the whites of the eyes, the kids, and they come in. We'll add places here and there. And the good news on all that is this has kept us in a position to where we have not had to cut staff, right? So that's the benefit of doing this way is we've been able to add without going through what a lot of folks are going through around us, which is cutting in the millions and millions of dollars right here. So we budget conservatively, and that's where we're at.
How many districts just roughly are having to do some of those cuts and struggling more than they ever have? It seems like I'm reading about most.
Surrounded.
Most, right?
Yeah, I only know, outside of us, I know one other district locally that didn't make cuts at the end of the year. I'm familiar with one.
What was that?
College Place.
Thank you.
So, okay. So there's a method to that and why we've been fortunate to land there. Summary of general fund expenditures. You can see, again, these are required for us to kind of report on these pieces, but it's well known, salaries and benefits take up a majority of the expenditures, but you can see the CERT salaries, classified salaries, and employee benefits. Reminder, those three take up, so this is both certificate and classified employee benefits, 76.82% of your general fund expenditures. Outside of that, you've got supplies and materials that take up 3.45% of our general fund expenditures. Purchase services, those can be anything from service support, ESD, contracts, almost 19% of our general fund expenditures. Travel, I know we talk about going to different places, doing things here and there, but you can see overall what a minute percent that is, what we do, and our capital outlay. So that's just kind of a percentage of how that's spent. Our MSOCs, which is our materials, supplies, and operating costs. So you can see the estimated amount for our MSOCs per the F203, 1.1 million. And the total amount the district proposes to spend on MSOCs is 2.9. So I want to remind you, again, this is when we talk about allocation versus what we actually spend. 1.1, and we annually spend about 3, just close to 3 million. So this is when people ask us, these are why those levies and everything are so critically important to the things we do, because the state doesn't allocate that much. We're reliant on those levies to maintain staffing, material costs, all those pieces. So there's just a good slide to talk about that. And don't forget, this February, we'll be going out for our levy.
Can you go back to the previous slide, though? So that slide you just showed doesn't show up in any of these categories. It's not number 7, and it's not number 5. It's its own category.
Some of those are obtained with your supplies and materials and some of those other pieces, because it's your MSOCs right here, material, supplies, and operating costs, some of those.
So what column is that in on the previous slide?
This is expenditures. I want to get this right because I want to be careful going on record, because I should have asked if Amber were here. Would be saying, was this a summary of our last year's expenditures or planned expenditures of coming up with our 25-26? And I'm not 100%, so I don't want to quote on that one. But this is what I know for this was 25-26, what we planned and put into our 25-26 budget for our MSOC costs. So I can get back to you on that one, Michael, on how that plays out. I just want to be careful without Amber here on this one, on what that's representing.
That's fair. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
I don't want to lead you down the wrong road. Say something that's just not true. Okay. So that would be the budget updates for that. Now I've got to go through the general 4-year projections. Keep in mind, it's traditional that you see these trend negatively, and you can see I'm not overly concerned about the 2% and 5%. Those trends you see annually as we do that. We're budgeting conservatively. But the 25-26 is your most accurate. The further out you get, it gets less and less accurate. But we're required to forecast 4 years out. So you can see the beginning fund balance on the forecasts with revenues. And the part of that is your revenues and other financial funding sources. They get less and less clear the further out we go. So we're using some estimates in those pieces. Expenditures, transfers, ending fund balance. Again, that's a 4-year projection on that. For general fund, using that same rationale for the capital projects. We're confident in that 25-26. Again, the further out that goes, we get less and less. And that's why you can even see we don't have that beginning fund balance as you see moving forward on that one. As you can see in the notes below, the capital project funds at this point is just our tech levy activity, because we don't have a bond. It's been off the record for a while. So everything you see in there is all related to our tech levy. Debt service, again, your beginning fund balance, and we just use some, again, estimates with your ending fund balance. That is as I mentioned, this is where I talked about the debt service fund is used to pay off the energy upgrade loan, and we're in our last year of that. 26, 27. I'll have to look at that one. Maybe I was off to you when I said it, because you can see there Amber puts that their final payment is technically 12/1/26, so I might have been off for 1 year. I stand corrected. 4-year ASB projections, beginning fund balance and ending fund balance, 25-26, 26-27, 27-28, 28-29. Keep in mind, all revenue expenses, that's done through ASB. They vote and approve all those pieces. Transportation vehicle fund, we have our beginning fund balance, revenue sources and expenditures and transfers. Again, we just use some estimates with that. We know those will adjust based on the buses that will be coming in and out. Do you have any questions?
Anything? Good.
Okay. So we will
Move on and come back to
want to close that part.
So we'll go ahead and close the public hearing.
Okay.
Moving on to administration report. All right.
You're welcome. I didn't put that out there.
Chat GPT picture.
Or you can doctor something up in the meantime.
Actually, while Mike, you're doing that, I just want to highlight one thing that's not on the agenda, but just an update for the board. I'll talk to you guys about it as we get close to that, but I've talked to you in the past about upgrading our district website. And that's actually going to be coming online sooner than you expect. That was supposed to be a winter piece. Usually that'll be happening before the school year starts with some updates. I only bring that up because Mr. Taylor's been very helpful with his drone and stuff. So there you see a picture. Actually, he was out helping get some images for our upcoming website. Mike's become really good at capturing our district. And so you'll see some updates with that with our new website when that becomes live. So, Mr. Taylor, your end of the year.
So what I put in front of you, if you start on the math side, these are all of our kids, it's just the iReady diagnostic, our fall, the spring, what kind of improvements or growth we made. The one that's a little bit faded out, were just snapshots right from iReady. So it fades out the oldest diagnostic, and then you have the most current one on your left. I like looking at it with pictures because it's easy to see. Like you want to see more green on the left, less red, than on the faded one. You can see our 7th grade made some big gains in math. Our 8th grade was a little bit more stubborn. But even in 6th grade, we had quite a few more kids in the green in Tier 1 than they scored in the fall.
Right direction?
Yeah, I mean, you look at that red triangle for 7th grade, that's just a 46 to 27%. That just makes me happy. Yeah. And then if you flip it over, it's the same setup for reading. Again, 7th grade made some huge gains. 8th grade a little bit, but not quite as much. I just wanted to give you a real basic, I know last time I shared more with the presentation with how we showed kids how they were progressing and the growth that they made, even in regards to attendance and grade. We had an assembly before we got into the testing window of the spring where we talked about progress and growth and talked about their efforts going into the assessments. The staff was able to be there as well, so I know as we transition into the actual testing sessions, obviously you're gonna have some kids that are gonna click through the assessments as fast as you can, but we felt like we had more kids actually putting in greater effort into those assessments. It wanes because you got state testing and iReady diagnostic, and but it was it was much better than previous.
Any questions from Mr. Taylor? We'll continue to bring these back to you. We're learning more as we go through this, right? I kind of said we're on a journey through this, right? And we'll continue to do, but I continue to be excited about putting formative measures down in front of you so we can really see real time what we're doing and just not waiting for the end of the year. You've seen Ms. Robillard and Mr. Miller talk a little bit about some of these things as well. We'll continue to get better at these as we go along. So I'm excited about continued growth and the effort. We're working towards this, and so it's just nice to see some real-time data in front of us.
How long have we been doing this, the iReady data?
Well, if you count,
Year and a half, or?
I'm gonna say if you count the first year, which we'll call a practice, as we were kind of working our way through it, 3 now. I was gonna say 3. Am I close to that? What would you say, Kev?
I would say we've got 2 good solid years.
Yeah, and that's what I'd say. The first year was a practice, years we're working through it, but I would say.
District-wide, I think maybe at the elementary school, they had a jump again, maybe with this, but
Yep.
district-wide.
I think we've been working on it for 3 years, 2 years solid. The good thing on some of this is we're beginning to build up historical data with some of these over the time. And so we'll be able to start looking at some of those pieces, but it's just been real early on, and we're still learning how we can use this to help with some of those pieces. Any questions?
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. All right. you got things you got going on. Hey, same rule code. Welcome.
2.5 weeks before we're officially empty nesters,
Okay,
and so any chance I get to
all right. Thank you for being here.
home with the kiddos.
Look at you.
So I'm gonna move on to new business, if you're okay with that? Okay, so I have in front of you Resolution 2425-07. This is the 25-26 fiscal budget and 4-year physical projections. You can see, and I just put quick summaries up there for you to see the ending fund balances of our projections and projections of our 25-26 budget. I'm looking for approval.
You wanna give us your little snapshot on this? I mean, how do you feel about it? Is this one of the tougher budgets you put together, or?
Well, here's what I would say. This year's budget was, it was a little bit more difficult than we've had in some of our past. Working with Amber on it. You saw, if I was to take the one slide alone and just say, look at the general fund piece, and I kind of talked to you about, absent of federal dollars that we've had in the past, that margin we've lost is gone, right? So, I still feel okay about where we're at. I still feel fortunate to be where we're at versus where the other folks are at, but we're certainly, I think, as a state, in for some interesting times moving forward. And I just think it'll be interesting to see where we're at. I mean, you see and hear it every day on the paper in terms of that. So there's a little anxiety in terms of that if we're talking about forecasting down the road in terms of budget, but the budget we put in front of us, I feel comfortable and confident in. We're still in a position, but we've lost that margin for error. I guess that's what I'd say. There's no margin for error in that. We budgeted actual amounts. There's no fluff in our budget this year. When I say that, and what I mean by that is just that gap in there that we had, where if we had that roof fall down or those other pieces where you could project for those things if the worst happened. If something were to happen, we'd have to come back with a budget revision. So I can tell you, it is a tight budget. There's not room for that. Yes, Michael.
Is it safe to say that most of our neighboring districts who are in trouble because they're in the same place as us and they have a tight budget and things didn't go how they forecast or predicted, and so they're upside down?
I don't want to presume why they're, every district's got their own unique little story, and what I mean by that is it's not just as simple as a budgeting piece. There could have been something state or federally done, everything from, and I just know from talking with my colleagues and stuff, it could have been something that was either A, accounting, B, they didn't get the student numbers they projected, could be having something to do with state pieces with money they were expecting to get that just fell through. So there were any number of different things. There wasn't just one solid thing out there. So.
Okay, thank you.
Crystal, you got anything? Okay, entertain a motion.
I'll make it.
I'll second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Does it take a roll call, or?
No,
I guess for me personally, I'm grateful that we've had the kind of financial leadership and stewardship and conservatancy that we haven't been in this trouble like other districts have.
I've always said I feel fortunate we're not in a position, we've been able to provide adequate support for our students in our community, while at the same time, I feel very fortunate we've been able to protect jobs all along the way. That's never been something we've ever had to do during my tenure here. So that's still a goal of mine. We still want to put the best product we can out in front of them while still maintaining jobs. So, ready to move on? Okay, so Resolution 2526-08, the Emergency Repair Grant. I am thrilled. Sorry, I always normally say no surprises, but I probably did not give you adequate heads up on this one. But this is not to me. This would really goes to Amber, who's not sitting here. So if she was here, I would thank her for the work done. She's been on this like a dog. Really, this is the HVAC unit on top of the high school. This would be a way of talking about budget. We've been really fortunate and worked really hard. This is another example of us saving money for our budget because we were able to find grant dollars to do that. And with as many resolutions, we've done this time and time again in my tenure. We were able to maximize our district dollars by finding state or federal grants. And so Amber went back to the drawing board with Scott Black at OSPI, and we were able to secure dollars, provided you approve this, to replace that HVAC up on our high school roof with grant dollars. So that would be both of those HVAC units were funded out of grant dollars, not coming out of the general fund balance.
And they're 25 years old.
Roughly, yes.
24, the high school was built
They were
2000.
original to that piece. So the one went out, as you remember last year, caught on fire. The other one had to work double time. It went upside down. We did a cost analysis of what it would cost to replace everything. We're in the same position. We were gonna throw bad money at repairs. So we decided we wanted to wait and move forward on replacing the entire unit. And we were able to secure some grant dollars to do that. So really to us, I'd tell you it's a no-brainer. But I just wanna say, this is Amber, but we worked really hard to try and find other avenues and sources to protect our local dollars.
So those are a couple of really big units, right? If I remember right.
Yes.
So we've done 2 of them. I mean, is that like a quarter of the high school?
No, not even close.
Close.
Not even close. 2 of,
Well, I know there's a bunch of units, but are they all?
I'm just gonna say like 25, 2 out of 25. They're not all the same size. These are larger units. You've got some that are smaller units. Keep in mind the work that we're doing with Apollo that I talked to you last year, that we're trying to seek $6 million. That's all through a different grant piece, but we started that this last year. You've got to get in line for that. But if we were able to secure the small schools modernization stuff, we're trying to secure up to $6 million to retrofit our district's HVAC because, I know it sounds crazy, but you guys know I've told you this before. Our newest units are giving us the most problems. If you look at dollars in, dollars out, what we're putting into those, he can tell you whether it's a belt, it's a fan motor, it's a motherboard. The high school has our most recent equipment, but we're time and time putting double or triple the money into the high school HVAC system that we're putting in. How often do we call them middle school or elementary? And we're adjusting it, but in terms of repairs or fixes, very little. Yeah, so, but we know it's just a matter of time because those units are even older than these at 25 years. So keep in mind, just be patient with me. We're in line to try and secure some, again, that state dollars. And we do that because we're trying to maintain programs and people.
Entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the $67,000 emergency repair grant authorization.
I'll second.
Discussion?
Good job on Amber.
That's her.
Chased down.
She's done that more than one time.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Unanimous?
Board calendar review. So next month, we will, if we wait until the business meeting, that would occur on August 25th. If the board would like, we can schedule an August 11th meeting for the board retreat. I'll come back to that. Traditionally, in the last few years, the board has opted to move it to the business meeting, 29th. I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm at the will of the board. Just a reminder, we'll look at our yearly pieces that we look at each year. If we move it to the 25th, that makes it just a little bit longer, but it makes 1 meeting versus 2. And a reminder, that night gets a little busy because that's also the night on the 25th of our open house. We got a lot going on, which is wonderful and great. We got students and staff back on site for open house that night, but we'll be talking about the start of the year and any other items that come up. So I'm at the board's will in terms of if we would like to have 1 or 2 meetings next month.
I'd rather have a long 1 meeting than 2 meetings.
And that has been the will of the board the last couple of years.
So we look at a different day. Seems like we had problems last year, like maybe we couldn't get everybody here or maybe you had a hard time.
On that meeting,
Yeah, there's a lot going on that,
It's just a lot going on with an open house that night, but
I mean, should we try to,
if we did, it would be a special meeting. We certainly can. We could move it. I don't mind doing it that night. We're already here that night, right? So in terms of open house, it doesn't bother me if you're looking, hurting my feelings by doing it, because we're already here that night. So it just makes a long day, but it gets that done. It doesn't kill a different night, so. Unless you guys have objections to that.
I'll be on the 11th, so I won't be here for that if that's what you decide to do, but the 20th.
Michael, I heard you voice for August 25th. Crystal, is that same?
I can't make the 25th, but I'm usually the minority in this post, so.
Okay.
It's fair week for us.
Fair week on the 25th.
Walla Walla Fair.
Got it, okay.
So, 25th?
25th.
Okay.
Kevin will do the one. Okay, any other items? before we close?
Anything else for the good of the board?
Can I have
Please?
an open question to our loyal staff who come to these meetings? When we have this push and pull between, you know, negotiation and bargaining and that, it's, you know, there's always a push and a pull, and that's the nature of the beast. But does the staff, especially like our younger staff, do they really understand and appreciate that we have a better track record of not, you know, cutting off the funds and sending people down the road and all this angst and upside down that we've been surrounded by for the last 5 or 6 years?
I would think, just in conversations with a lot of our staff, that we are blessed to be in the district and are happy with the financial situations at the district and the way that things have been run. And that year after year, we have general knowledge of what our staffing is going to be and feel supported. So I would think from top to bottom, our staff has a pretty good knowledge of our financial stability right now in the district. I think they're very appreciative of what we have.
So to quote an old farmer, the water gets to the end of the road. Okay. Thank you very much.
Any good thoughts on that?
Anything further?
That's it.
Good, Mike?
Thank you, sir.
We're adjourned.
Meeting, guys.
I'm sorry.